Shelter-in-place order, April 21st, self-isolation, social distancing. I've absolutely had it. All right, yeah, I've had it. I think that this has gone on far enough. This is an obvious sham. This is an obvious tactic. It's just the amount of things that are happening simultaneously that are just completely insane in all aspects of our lives is it's just unbelievable. It really is. But before we get into that stuff, let me show you this video. This is over the weekend. I almost completed the chicken coop for our chickens, and I'm pretty proud of myself. So if you know anything about me, you know that I've said many times I'm not very handy with tools and things like that. But now that I have a house, I'm trying to take advantage of the ability to sort of make adjustments and build things like that. And so I have started on repurposing this shed, which came with the house, into a chicken coop. And so here's what I've done so far. I'm actually pretty proud of myself, so you can check it out with me. So here's what I've done so far. I actually put this wall up over the weekend. Pretty sturdy, and it doesn't need to be perfect because it's just a place for chickens to live. So I think I've done a pretty good job. I'm intending on making this chicken wire, and then this is going to be the door to get into it. I also put up some plywood for walls because chickens can't have drafts in the wintertime. The chickens that I got are supposed to be really good in winter, but even them, if you get too cold, they can die. So I put some walls up. I'm going to put some more over here. And this is the roost. I'm going to put this over a box where hopefully a lot of the chicken manure goes into, so it'll be easily cleaned. So we'll see how that goes. And this is the nesting box for the eggs. I bought this, but I did put it together as well, which is pretty cool. And back here is where we're going to put the run. So that's going to be an interesting challenge to build the run. I'm not really sure how I'm going to do that, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm just not a handy person, so the ability to sort of, quickly look some things up online and to get it done, and it seems pretty sturdy to me. That's huge, man. That's huge. I'm willing to bet that all of you out there, if you think that you're not capable of doing certain things like that, you probably are. You just don't know how to do it. But the thing about YouTube is you can figure out and see and get an example of how to do almost anything. So I'm obviously not done yet, and it hasn't survived a storm yet, but I'm pretty confident about it. So that's something that during this time when you're staying at home, hopefully it'll be over soon. But while you're doing that, try to learn some things. Try to learn some things, despite what idiots like Kyle Howard say, that there's nothing wrong with that. This is not a time of trauma. This is a time of learning. This is a time of growing. This is a time of repentance and all of that kind of stuff. Anyway. Yeah, I've had it. I've absolutely had it. Over the weekend, I went out. I've gone to a few different stores over the time we're supposed to be sheltering in place. I've been to a couple grocery stores. I've been to Home Depot a number of times. And I went to Tractor Supply a couple times as well. And let me just say this. I've noticed a shift. And I saw Kernovich tweet on this on Friday. I noticed it on Friday as well. Definitely even more so yesterday. I went to Tractor Supply yesterday. And I think people are done. They're done with this. It's patently obvious to everyone that this is not what people said it was. This coronavirus thing is not what the experts said it was. And the experts are full of it. They're totally full of it. They're making it up as they go along. They don't have any clue what they're talking about. Actually, they probably do have a clue of what they're talking about. They're just telling you lies intentionally. And I can prove this. And I've been saying this from the beginning. But before we get into that, let me say this, that I am concerned about the economy, very, very concerned about the economy, way more concerned about the economy than I was about the coronavirus. The coronavirus in the beginning, I knew that the people were full of it. I knew that, and I said that on this channel. I said what I'm concerned with, and I even told you guys, what you guys should prepare for is not to have the bubonic plague come through your town, because this is not the bubonic plague, clearly. But we should prepare for is panic with people. And so that's why you should go to the store and buy some things that you need, because people are going to panic because the government is telling them to panic. The government told you that the bubonic plague is coming through, and you believe them, even though enough information was out there to know that they were full of it. They're full of it. And so we'll talk about that in just a minute. But that's the kind of thing I was saying, and I still think you need to do that. I think if you now that we know that the stores are still kind of stocked and things are still happening, you got your Trump cash probably and all that kind of stuff. If you aren't prepared for some lean months, you know what I mean, some lean months, some lean year, that kind of thing, economically speaking, then you need to start making some plans right now, because this is not going to fix itself quickly. The economy's not coming back quickly. You can't just restart it and everything goes back to the way it was. It's not going to be that way, and we're going to have some difficult times ahead. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean you should despair, but you should prepare, and I want you to prepare. One of the things I did, and I'm not a stock expert, I'm not an economist and all these kind of stuff, but one of the things I did in the very beginning of this, the first day that there was a sell-off in the stock market, I sold my stocks. And then I bought some mining stocks that I've been wanting to buy for a while, but I didn't want to overpay, and I wanted to get them at a good price. And so if you remember the first couple of days of the sell-off, gold stocks were sold off too. So I pulled all my money out of the stock market and I started buying gold mining stocks and silver mining stocks. I'm not saying you should do that now, by the way. There's a lot of people that say that if they've reached the pinnacle. I don't think so. But so don't take this as stock advice. But through that move, I lost, I don't remember how the percentage that I lost the first day of the sell-off. But I took it as an opportunity to do what I wanted to do from the beginning, which is buy mining stocks. And so since then, the mining stocks have increased in value to such a degree that I'm actually 5% over where I was before the stock market sell-off. Now, I'm not saying that this is a way to get rich quick, or this is a way to sort of make some quick income. It might be, but that's not why I bought the mining stocks. I bought the mining stocks because I believe, personally, that they're going to be more valuable as the Federal Reserve uses their money printing gun to just shoot out money like there's no tomorrow. Helicopter dropping money on people. I think that's a stupid policy. I think it's a stupid move. And I think biblically speaking, there's no way it'll work. There's no way it'll work. From the Bible, we know that people that devalue currency, that's actually signs of a curse from God, to devalue currency. That's an evil tactic. God will not let that work. And economically, just if you know economics at all, you know that will not work. I think that there's a tremendous inflation that's going to be happening this year, and if I'm right about that, then gold prices and silver prices should rise. Now, I don't know that for a fact. I'm not telling you what to do, but that's an example of not panicking and preparing for something that you think is going to be a problem. Anyway, so yeah, but I've had it. People are out, and they're no longer wearing the masks as much as they used to be, and they're just sick of it. Like, you know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to go do this stuff. And what are you going to do? I mean, because the governors all across the country are just, they're getting off on being able to tell you what to do. Oh yeah, I'm thinking maybe we'll get back to work. I don't know. June 15th. Then he comes back on a few months later. June 10th. These guys don't know what they're talking. What's it, June 10th? Where'd you get that? Oh, yeah, he's listening to the experts. They say June 10th. Yeah, the experts are out of their minds. Dr. Fauci's out of his gourd. The other day, you remember my video where I said that the stupidest thing you'll hear probably all year is that thing about how we should never shake hands again. Dr. Fauci, the expert of coronavirus, thinks, oh, yeah, we should never shake hands again. Never, never, never. Then a few days later, he's on TV saying, yeah, but if you want to get on Tinder and hook up with someone that you don't know and have sex with a stranger, yeah, it's okay if you do that, just as long as you're aware of the risks. So on the one hand, we should never shake hands again. On the other hand, if you want to sleep with everybody that you see, just make sure you're aware of the risk. It should be okay. There's an agenda afoot. There's just no question about it. There's an agenda afoot. And all y'all people who are saying, well, as long as the church isn't being treated differently, then you're acting as if there's some kind of neutrality here. There's no neutrality. If all the mosques are closed and all the churches are closed, we can be grateful for the mosques being closed, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong for you to close the churches. That's not how we do this. So everything's okay as long as the church is not being treated differently. That's stupid. I'm sorry, because on the one hand, like if you close down brothels, but you also close down churches, we're not treating the churches differently than brothels, but the brothels should still be closed down, and the churches still shouldn't be. That's not how we do this. This is not how we do this, guys. This is just it's ridiculous. It's thinking like an idiot. I'm sorry, but that's not how we do this. And I think I know why you're thinking that way. Thinking that way because you're terrified out of your mind, and the government made you terrified. They pumped that fear, man. You're probably reading Judge Report. You're probably reading any of the mainstream media that all they want you to do is to be freaking scared out of your gourd. But the thing is, when someone's trying to pump fear, that's a surefire way time for you to say, let me hold on a second. Before you start getting me all pumped up and scared, let me think about this logically for a second. Let me tell you why I knew that they had no clue about coronavirus when they were telling us to be terrified out of our minds. This is how I knew that. This is how I was comfortable saying, I don't know if coronavirus is bad. To me, it doesn't seem that bad. I had no problem saying that because of two pieces of information that were intended to make you scared out of your gourd. But if you actually think about them for a second and don't let fear rob you of your intelligence, you would have known that they're full of it. They're absolutely full of it. Information point number one. Data point number one. They said this to you. Do you remember this? In the very early stages, they said this to you. They said, the scary thing about coronavirus is that you can have it and spread it and not even know. There are so many asymptomatic carriers out there, and so that's why you need to stay home, because you could be spreading coronavirus to everyone you know, and you don't even know it because you're not even sick. You don't even have a tickle in your throat. You don't have a temperature, and you don't know. So you have to stay home as long as we tell you to stay home until the danger has passed. Stay in your freaking house because you have no idea. There's people walking around with coronavirus. We have no clue how many people are out there walking around with the coronavirus, and so be terrified and stay home. That's data point number one, okay? And again, I'm not a doctor. That very well could be true. I have no idea. But that's how they sold it to you. They said, well, you be very scared because there's so many asymptomatic carriers out there. They're just walking around everywhere. You're going to get the coronavirus if you don't stay home. Data point number two, they told you this at the same time they're telling you that there's asymptomatic carriers up the yin-yang walking around crazy about to give coronavirus to everybody. The data point number two is this. They know for sure that the coronavirus is 50 times as deadly as the flu. 50 times, and we know because we can look at the death rate of the people that have tested positive versus the people that have died, and we put those together and we get this 5% death rate, and it's terrifying. This is way more deadly than the flu. It's not the flu. It's not the flu. It's not the flu. It's 50, 100 times more deadly than the flu, and we know this for a fact. That's why you should be terrified. That's why you should shut down your business. That's why you should listen to us, shut it down for as long as we stay home, for as long as we say for you to stay home. Be terrified. Both of those data points in isolation are terrifying. They are. They're terrifying. But we were being told them simultaneously. And if they're both true, then the government is full of it. Because if there are thousands upon thousands of people walking around with the coronavirus, they don't even know it. They haven't been tested because they don't even know to be tested because they don't even feel sick. At the same time, they're telling you the exact death rate, and they know it's 50 times as deadly as the flu. They're lying to you. Because if there are people walking around in untold numbers with the coronavirus and we have no idea, then you have no idea what the death rate is. So it still could be deadly. It still could be deadly. But if we're going to believe both of these things that are intended to pump me full of fear, then you're full of it. You have no idea what the death rate is. I have no idea how scared I should be. And that's just as simple as that. It's just as simple as that. But so many of you just didn't think about it that way. And you said, well, on the one hand, people are walking around. That's scary. With the coronavirus, they don't even know it. On the other hand, the death rate is 50,000 times more deadly than the flu. That's also scary. And then you just let the fear build in you. And you said, okay, we have to shut down our churches. Well, I guess we have to. Okay, we have to shut down every business except for porn stores, liquor stores, and food stores. Okay, sure, no problem. I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah. Oh, my retirement savings. Yeah, they're dwindling. Oh, yeah. No problem, because this is a deadly virus. This is the bubonic plague, after all. You see, you let fear rob you of your intelligence. You guys aren't stupid. So many of you that bought into it are not stupid. You're not. But fear robbed you of your critical thinking skills. You're telling me, I talked to one guy, I couldn't even believe this. I talked to one guy who said, on the one hand, he knows coronavirus is way more deadly than the flu. And then somebody pointed out to him, a couple years ago, the flu killed almost 100,000 people in the flu season in America. And the guy, I assumed he had a straight face. It was online, so I don't know if he had a straight face. The guy said, I don't trust the CDC flu numbers. And I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he said that. I don't trust the CDC flu numbers. But I know that the CDC coronavirus numbers are 100% accurate. In fact, if anything, they're undershooting it. It's just unbelievable. But people have had it. People are starting to see. Lots of you are starting to see. A lot of you guys who were very much, buying into the fear factor that was manufactured into you. The government manufactured fear into you to rob you of your intelligence. I want you to recognize that. They did it, and it worked for so many of us. And it even worked for me. I mean, I wore a mask in public twice. Even though I knew that was stupid. I knew that I didn't need to. I wore it twice. So I'm not excluding myself here. I've already learned the theory that when you're fearful, when you have anxiety, that's the time to not make a move that could potentially cost you significantly. That's the time to just take a deep breath, pray about it, think about it, whatever you have to do. Take a deep breath and say, okay, what do I know? What do I know? And list it all out. And that's a way to make decisions, man. That's a way to make decisions. So anyway, they've pumped you full of fear and robbed you of your reason. They robbed you of your reason. Okay, it happened. You can't. I see so many people that are starting to realize what's gone on. They see the government has made me fearful, and they use these scientific models. And the reason why they use models with all kinds of variables and numbers that you don't understand and stuff like that is because they want you dazzled like the Wizard of Oz. They're performing magic spells before you. You don't have no idea what these numbers mean. And they have those graphs, and it goes up and it goes down. And you're like, well, why is it going up and down? Well, no, don't even ask questions. Just see, this is the line. This is how many hospital beds we have. This is how many we need. And how do you get that number? No, don't ask questions. Don't ask any questions. I don't want to tell you. Besides, your peon brain, you're not trained. You wouldn't understand even if I did tell you. You don't understand how this works. I'm in charge. You're the subject. Do what I say. I know better. I've been trained. I'm the expert. You just sit there and just take it. Just listen to us. We've got your best interest in mind. We've got your best interest in mind. Oh, then my favorite one. They're dazzling you with their model magical spells, just like the Wizard of Oz. They're dazzling you with these words that you don't understand. And they say, well, you guys got to walk around with masks. The masks are going to help you. Cover your mouth, cover your nose, and everything will be okay. And then the message a couple days later was, no, hold on. Don't wear the masks. You don't need the masks. Aren't going to help anyway. They do very little to help you. But we need the masks in the hospitals, the front lines. They need the masks. The heroes in the hospitals, they need the masks. Remember this one? Oh, you got to wear those gloves, too, the gloves. Because the gloves, you get the coronavirus on your hands and you touch your face, it's just a disaster. So just get the gloves, one use, throw them out. I heard recently that the gloves don't help, actually, at all. The gloves don't help. In fact, they might spread it even more. The gloves might spread it even more. So if you wear the gloves, you're actually at a higher risk of catching the coronavirus. Gotcha. Oh, the coronavirus. The sunlight will kill it. The sunlight will kill it. But definitely don't go outside, though. Definitely stay indoors. Don't go outside. We can't have you in the parks because you're going to spread the coronavirus. But the sunlight will kill it. No question about it. Stay inside, but you got to get outside too to get some exercise because exercise actually helps the coronavirus. You see these? You see what's going on here? Do you see what's going on here? They got you jumping on one foot, and then they tell you jump on the left foot. And we're all jumping on the left foot, and they say, oh, no, jump, definitely jump on the right foot. And you're jumping on the right foot, and whatever you say, these guys are getting off on this. And it's gross. It's gross, but a lot of people are starting to see. Normal people. I'll admit, I've said this before on this. I'm given over to a bit of a conspiratorial mindset from time to time. I think that the Bible actually condones the idea that there are conspiracies in the world, especially conspiracies against the church and God's people. But I admit, I like the idea of researching conspiracy theories. I'm not the kind of person that's against them. But normal people are starting to see what's going on. Normal people are starting to see how the media pumps you full of fear. They want you to be scared. They want you to be so terrified so that you listen to them. You look to them. You look to the experts who say all these words that you don't understand. And they say, oh, he must be, he's got a PhD. He's an MD. All that. He must know. He must know what to do. I love that, the models, they go up, oh no, the bed, there's so many beds we have, and then they go down, and then quietly they change the model, and they say, oh yeah, we're already past the peak of peak resource usage. We passed that peak 5 days ago. And it turned out, we had more than enough beds by a factor of 10. And they don't say anything, and we're still supposed to just trust the model, like, oh wow, look at the science, I guess we're past the worst now. And you don't have any clue what's real. You don't have any clue what's real. I mean, they're using these magical science words that people are like, well, I don't believe in magic. I believe in science. But they're using these words. You don't have any freaking clue if they're real or not. You don't know what's going on. You don't know how they made that model. They could have just, let's just say 10 times as many beds. We're going to need 10 times as many beds as we have. You don't know what they're doing. They publish, it's peer-reviewed. Yeah, it's peer-reviewed, definitely. So a bunch of wizards got together, and they peer-reviewed each other's work, and now they want you scared. And, of course, the solution's always, yes, more socialism. Definitely more socialism. We need to pass the checks to people, direct payments to people. We got to have a universal basic income. That'll solve all our problems, right? Definitely more socialism. Oh, also vaccines. Yeah, you got that creep. That creep, Bill Gates. So you got the vaccine coming out. Get it out in 18 months, and we'll stick you all. You got the vaccine, and then better yet, we got to put the abortion fetus cells into the vaccine too. That way, you get the abortion, the superpowers of the abortion cells. That's always the agenda too. We gotta get the vaccines out. You even noticed in the media, like, they don't want anyone curing COVID. They don't want anyone treating COVID. The hydroxycut, that's the devil. And then the other drug, that's the devil as well. But vaccines, that's the solution. It's the vaccine. See, the way they pump vaccines, that's enough to make me suspicious of vaccines. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, I've got my vaccines. I've got, when I was a kid, I got, the shots. My kids have the shots and stuff like that. But the way they pump it, these creeps who think they're the king of the world, these creeps pump this vaccine. They want you to get the vaccine. They want you begging for the vaccine. All at the same time as we can't treat the disease, though. No, definitely don't treat the disease unless you're a white supremacist. If you're a white supremacist, then you want to treat the disease. But if you actually love your minority brothers and sisters in Christ, then you want the vaccine. That's it. You treat it if you're racist, but you get the vaccine if you're a good socialist Democrat like me. That's my favorite, the vaccines. Oh, yeah, hydroxycut. We need peer review. We need science. But the vaccine, they'll pump that out right away. Oh, totally, absolutely. Bunch of creeps, man. I hope that you enjoyed this rant. I know I sure did. But I've had it. I'm going to go about my business the way I see fit. It's just that simple. If I want to go to McDonald's and have a McDouble on Friday, I'm going to have a McDouble. I'm going to go, and I'm not going to wear my gloves and all that kind of stuff. Unless I feel like I want to wear gloves. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll feel like it. Maybe I won't. But guess what, Governor? I don't care about your stupid rules. I saw one of my Facebook friends. I'm not going to name her because I don't know if she wants to be named. But the governor of her state said that if you go to the parks, get a little sun, you get a little exercise, you can't be in groups of 5 or more. And her family is a group of 5 or more. So she started calling just to see, can I go with my family, though? Like, is there an exception if I have a family of 8 or 10 or something? And the people she's calling were, like, reading through the order, like, oh, it doesn't seem like there's an exception. So I guess if you have a family of 5 or more, you can't go to the park. And they get off. They get off on telling you what to do. And so many of us are just like, yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Right away, sir. We're not subjects. He's not the king. He's not the emperor that can tell us what to do, right? This is not how this works in this country. In this country, they work for you. The civil governing authority works for you. That's how it works in this country. So if you want to go to live in an empire, you want to go and live in a kingdom, go find a kingdom. I'm sure the Saudi Arabians would love to have you. But in this country, with a government based on biblical principles, the civil governing authority works for you. You're the boss. And so if you want to go to a park with your family that's over 5 people, and the governor said you can't, you can do what you want to do. It's just that simple. There's nothing evil about going to a park with your family of 6. There's nothing wicked about going to the park with your family of 6 that needs to be suppressed according to God's principles. Nothing. These governors are getting off on that. And I've had it. I've had it. Enough is enough. Enough of the stupid rules that don't make any sense. Enough of the contradictions in guidelines. Enough of the executive orders that have no weight. Or at least they shouldn't in our minds. We've had enough. I know that I'm not alone here. We've had enough. What would they do? What would they do if we just said, you know what? I'm not doing it anymore. You say shelter in place? No. I'm not going to shelter in place. What would they do? I mean, I guess they could jail us all, but that's also a contradiction because you're starting to jail people into closely confined quarters while at the same time you're releasing prisoners. You know what I mean? It's just insane. Absolutely insane. But I've had it. I've had it, and it's about time for the church to start displaying some leadership. I'm very proud of the CREC. The CREC saying, you know, eventually we're going to have to open this thing up. You know what I mean? I'm very proud of that kind of pushback. I don't think it's enough. I think there should be more pushback. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. Very disappointed in the TGC ERLC types that are just basically, yeah, anything you say, sir. Let me lick. You want me to lick your boots? I'll lick your boots. That's basically the leadership we have in the ERLC. Religious Liberties Commission. Yeah, you know, let me show you my library. I've got some Stephen King novels. Meanwhile, there has never been a bigger threat to religious liberties. There's never been a threat to liberty in general. And Russell Moore's telling you about a Stephen King novel collection. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.